Hello and welcome, my stylish cockroaches. How you doing today? If you guys are enjoying this content, by the way, press that like button for me and don't forget to subscribe because this is going to be an amazing video. Today, we're going to be ranking all the heroes in Bloons Tower Defense 6. Now, we started off with Bloons Tower Defense 6 with only 4 little baby heroes. They were all free heroes. They didn't cost us anything to get. And as we got bigger and better and deeper and stronger into this game, we unlocked a bunch of new heroes. And now there's 8 new heroes for a whopping 12 heroes in Bloons Tower Defense 6. And I think one of the most important things to knowing, to being a good BTD6 player is knowing which hero is the best. So today, we're going to rank them all and hopefully help you guys learn something. But before we rank our heroes, we should understand a little bit about them. And also, I want you to think about what your favorite hero is and where you would rank your heroes as well, because I think that no matter what, this is always going to be an opinion-based thing. It's not set in stone. Certain people are going to like certain heroes a little bit better than other ones, and that's completely fine. So let's start off with Quincy. I want to talk about these guys fairly quickly. Quincy has 2 different abilities, and most heroes are going to have 2 different abilities. Both of them are decent, but the basic way that Quincy works is he's going to shoot his bow, and what's cool about his bow is that he's actually going to be able to jump from balloon to balloon. So you can see that he's going to be sort of a heat-seeking hero here. He could still miss, but he's going to miss very little. Eventually, as he goes higher and higher, he shoots more arrows, and eventually leads to explosive arrows and all that good stuff here, and he becomes extremely powerful. As you go higher and higher, he does actually do a decent job against Moabs. So his 2 abilities are, first of all, just kind of shooting extremely quickly. There's the Rapid Shot and the Storm of Arrows. So the Rapid Shot is going to allow you to do extra damage to just about anything. You know, as you get bigger and better arrows, it's going to do more damage. And then the Storm of Arrows is going to rain down upon the Bloons here, doing tons of damage to all of them, but not necessarily killing everything. Extra specially good against lower class Bloons, and decent against higher tier Bloons. Gwendolyn, or as I call her, Gwendy, is a fire-based hero. She costs $900 to build, so she's not exactly cheap here, but she is pretty beefy. What's cool about Gwendolyn is her shots are not heat-seeking, but they do shoot all the way across the screen, so if you position her properly, she might be able to jump into hitting those balloons kind of across the screen here. Her 2 abilities are literally amazing. Probably some of the best abilities in the game. The Molotov cocktail is going to throw down and pop like almost any balloon, like at all. So she's pretty solid across the board. And going all the way up into high tier balloons like round 78 here, our Keg Blast is going to be absolutely amazing against high tier balloons like Ceramics. We just literally melt these guys. It's pretty ridiculous. In addition, one of those most important things that she does is an extra kind of inactivated ability, the Fire Up ability, which allows us to, whenever she sort of flames around her, it's going to power up the towers around her. You can see the little Gwendolyn thing. It's going to power up the towers around her so they become much more powerful. Great against things with a lot of projectiles, kind of similar to an alchemist or something like that. Another free hero in the game, we've got Striker Jones. He's got a lot of range here, but one thing you should keep in mind is he's not really designed to be a good hero by himself. What he is a support hero. So he's going to support you by making your cannons and your mortars stronger. So you can see even at level 6 here, even at level 7, he's really not doing much damage against these balloons. This is pretty bad. I don't mean to like make fun of Striker Jones or anything, but I just want to let you guys know that by himself, he is not a good hero. What he does is he buffs your other towers. He's going to give them extra range, extra attack speed, and mostly attack speed, and even extra pierce for the cannons inside of the range of Striker Jones here. See the little Striker Jones symbol above your cannon here. Just overall making them a lot more powerful. So when you combine all these guys together, you get a big chunk of damage overall. His 2 abilities are honestly pretty interesting. I'm going to level them up all the way to level 20 here because I think the level 20 ability is much, much better here. But the way these guys are going to work is he's got the ability to stun Moab-class balloons with his Concussion Blast. And his Artillery Command is going to allow you to not only get your ability back, but also, when he gets level 20, do extra damage here. So check out the Assassin ability. I'm going to use the ability, but I'm going to use this Artillery Command to get my ability back and be able to use it again. So, What that can do is allow you to get a ton of mortar and cannon abilities, all be able to instantaneously be gotten back, and he does double damage at level 20 to all mob class Bloons. So late game, if you combine him with a bunch of mortars and cannons, he is absolutely stupendous, but again, by himself, a little on the weak side. And the People's Choice Award goes to Obyn. Obyn's a pretty complicated hero. He's kind of weird looking, first of all. He's kind of goof-tastic, to say the least. He's going to level up pretty fast here as well, but the main thing that he does is he kind of supports and does damage by himself. His main weakness is his abilities are lackluster at best. So what he can do is he can increase the popping power or the pierce of all druids within his range at even level 2, making him a great starting tower if you're going to combine him with druids. This used to include ninjas as well and other magic monkeys, but now it's only druids all the way up until level 11, and once you hit level 11, that's when you can start affecting ninjas and other towers like super monkeys and stuff. So he is a bit of a support tower in that sense, but you can tell only druids have his little face over this guy, but once you get him up to level 11, then the other monkeys are going to start to have druids face over him, and it's got a little bit of a different, weirder face. Now that's important because, again, he is a support hero, and that's something to keep in mind here. Plus 5 range, plus 2 pierce, and druids get an additional 1 pierce on top of that, meaning druids get like double or even triple buffed here. Druids, if you combine them with Obyn, they are solid. In fact, it's one of the best strategies in the game to combine a bunch of druids with Obyn to get this all covered. But let's talk about Obyn's abilities. So he's got a bit of a Spike Factory-esque ability called Brambles, and what happens here is when you get a bunch of Bloons coming in, it's going to just take them down. Alright, it's not all powerful or anything like that, but it's kind of a good little help for yourself. In addition, we've got the Wall of Trees, which I'll admit I don't know exactly how the Wall of Trees work. But my understanding is that you can make a little bit of extra money from the trees, but you won't make extra money off of the trees in Chimps mode and such. So, it's kind of weird. It's kind of a weird ability, but it sucks up a bunch of Bloons. It can be extra special helpful on things like round 63 and 78 and 76 with big Bloon levels where you just want to slurp them up and just get rid of them. Obyn's regular attacks do damage to Bloons. So we're going from rainbows all the way down to yellows. So when you put this guy out, I would consider putting him on strong so you can get rid of those higher tier layer Bloons. And because his pierce isn't necessarily awesome, you can just let your other towers sort of deal with them, whether it's cannons or mortars or druids or whatever. Let them deal with them in the most proper way you can. My hero list will be organized based on the way that Ninja Kiwi ordered them, not in any way, shape, or form that really matters. But Sauda right now is probably one of the top tier heroes in the game. She is quite strong. Now, that's why I'm going to tell you guys that, because I hesitate to actually truly rank her right now, because she might get nerfed. And when I say might be nerfed, they are 100% going to nerf her. Ninja Kiwi has said so, but they said they're not going to nerf her that much. So it may not be that big of a deal. They mostly want to change her range to be smaller, at least for now. So that's something to keep in mind. Sauda is an extreme damage-doing hero. She just does a bunch of damage by herself. She doesn't do much support or anything like that. In fact, other towers can support her a little bit, but she does damage to even Moab class Bloons. High ceramic class Bloons can do bleeding damage over time, where they sort of slowly die here, and it's just a great hero. Her only real weakness is going to be early game, is going to be lead balloons here. She can pop them with abilities, but lead balloons are the only true weakness to her because she can pop camos. This is the key to Sauda at level 1. Level 1! She can pop camo balloons already, which makes her a fierce, fantastic, amazing Chimps hero, at least for the early maps here, guys. At least for the maps where there's only really one entrance, or maybe one exit where you can put her down and pop all the Bloons. So to touch on her 2 abilities again, she's got this leaping sword attack and sword charge. Leaping sword attack is going to jump on whatever Bloon you want to, either first, last, close, or strong. What's cool is you can decide which one you want to jump on. In addition, after she jumps on them, you can do damage with your swords that are left in the ground here, which isn't amazing, but again, just a little bit of something else. Then she's got her sword charge, which makes her jump all the way to the back of the map here and kind of go up the map and slice through every Bloon on the screen. It does have a pop limit, so you can't pop everything on round 63 or 76 or 78 or higher than that, but it is pretty gosh darn powerful and very helpful. The only problem is that when she jumps back, she's obviously not doing her regular attacks over here, so that's something to keep in mind. The most expensive hero in the game is here. This is Captain Churchill. Oh my god, is this guy beefy. Alright, $2,000, almost twice the price of any other hero in the game. He is very, very, very strong as you level him up. And I think that's the key here, as you level him up. He is a, quote-unquote, no-nonsense powerhouse on the battlefield, and I feel like that is an exact, perfect explanation of what he does. He doesn't really support any other towers. He doesn't really do anything in addition to the other towers. He just does his own thing. And what he does is be really powerful. So as you level him up, you're going to notice that he's going to get a lot of extra stuff here. But the main thing he's going to grab is an extra machine gun attack. And that's going to allow us to pop black balloons finally, because his barrage is not a black balloon popping power tower. Yeah, I mean, he's just good all around. He's not all powerful or anything like that. He still has some weaknesses, I guess. Lots of balloons, lots of Moab class balloons, kind of in a row here. Black balloons a little bit if your machine gun's not attacking. But he's a no-nonsense powerhouse, and he's going to be extremely good help to your team. The major issue is saving up $2,000 kind of early on to start get that experience going. Now, this is the first hero that's going to start changing the amount of experience that you gain as you go up. So I didn't want to touch on this for the earlier heroes, but one thing you got to keep in mind is by the time you get to round 100, all heroes are going to gain experience at different rates. And by the time you get to round 100, lots of heroes are going to get to level 20, but there are certain heroes that will only get to level maybe 15, 17, 18, or if you spend a little bit of experience or earn it with subs or something like that, you might be able to reach level 20. But they're going to gain experience at different rates. So that is going to affect how we rank our heroes. Because if we're only getting to level 17 by the time we're at level 100, we don't get that true level 20 power out of us that we might want to get. So we have to keep that in mind while using these guys. So Churchill has two awesome abilities. It's got an ability that shoots through tons and tons of balloons, does tons of extra damage, extra speed, does damage to extra damage to ceramic class balloons and Moab class balloons. It's pretty awesome, to say the least. And then he's got another ability called a Moab Barrage, which is going to blow up pretty much every Moab on the screen within reason. Moab Barrage the crap out of these guys, do tons of missile damage to these things, and just clean them all up. He's a powerhouse, doesn't do much support. He's kind of a weird hero, to be honest, but he's solid. I can respect Benjamin. I completely, utterly respect Benjamin. But he's not somebody that I normally like to use because I don't think he's that fun to use. And he's really complicated, too. I don't want to talk too much about him because it gets more and more complicated as you talk about him. But he makes you a lot of money, and he also loses you some money. But generally speaking, he's going to make you more money than he loses. And he's going to make the balloons get popped a little bit easier for you. So again, he's overall a very, very complicated monkey or hero to use in your game. His two abilities are pretty interesting. I'm going to send out round 78 here just because. And one thing you're going to notice is that we have the ability to siphon fund certain balloons. We have the ability to hack certain balloons. We have the ability to do a lot of weird stuff kind of overall. Another thing that we can do is use our first ability here to make our monkeys attack faster. But what's sad about this is that when it runs out, they stop attacking for a short period of time. In addition, we can also use this second ability, which is going to lower the rank of any balloon coming out next. So if we use this ability, you're going to notice that these rainbows that were coming out now turned into measly little zebras. And the ceramics that came out turned into measly little rainbows. In addition, BFBs that come out are going to turn into measly little Moabs. This thing is pretty awesome, but only if you use it really, really well. Because one thing you got to keep in mind is all those balloons that are a little bit lower rank may make you make you less cash. But at the same time, it's supposed to make you extra money, so it gets really, 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 really weird. Cash from each pop affected is doubled, but there's less layers. So it's like, it just gets really funky, alright? I'm telling you guys, this guy's complicated, but he's honestly a pretty solid, pretty fun hero for a lot of newer players. Ezili looks like Adora's sister, basically. That's what she looks like. Ezili's a really weird hero. I'm not a big fan of her overall. I will let you guys know that right now. So if you want to think that I'm biased right from the get-go, that's fine. But one thing you got to keep in mind is that Ezili's got a couple cool things about her. First of all, she can use her ability to stop all regens on the screen from regenning for a little bit. That can be quite amazing. Sometimes. Rarely. Ever. Kind of. A little bit. She can't pop purple balloons, but she does pop camos automatically, which is quite awesome. You can even pop leads and camo leads straight from the get-go, which is something that almost no other hero can do, like, at all. A level 1 camo lead popping power. Very good for alternate balloon rounds. Wink, wink. But sort of weak in the beginning part of the game. And that's kind of her major issue here, is that even on regular rounds, like round 15, even as a level 5 hero here, she's going to struggle pretty hard. A lot of these balloons are going to start to, at the very least, get far here and sneak through. That's pretty rough here for, again, a level 5 hero. What's weird about Ezili, she's actually got 3 different abilities. She's got a regrow stopper. She's got something called a sacrificial totem. So if I give myself 15 lives here, this sacrificial totem is going to sacrifice some of our lives to give us a totem, which is going to increase the popping power of some of the towers instead of our range. Okay, I guess that's nice, but we're sacrificing lives, which is just kind of weird. I guess it's a fair thing to do, but it's kind of weird. It starts off at 10 lives, and then late in her levels, it turns down to 1 life, which doesn't seem as bad anymore. So, that's fine. She's also got this Moab Hex, which is really the key to Ezili's power over here. The Moab Hex is delicious. By far, the most delicious thing that she does. So what we're going to do is use the Moab Hex. You're going to see how this guy is going to work. These are reinforced BFBs, by the way. The Moab Hex is going to burn through a reinforced BFB, turn it into nothing, and then it's going to jump to the next reinforced BFB in line. And again, and again, and again. And we just insta-killed like 5 or 6 reinforced BFBs like that. As she goes higher and higher, eventually she can get to the point where she can affect bad balloons with the Moab Hex, basically completely annihilating the bad balloon. One of the only heroes that can just kill the bad balloon by herself. So that's why she's awesome, but she does have a lot of weaknesses. She's only good in the late game, and she kind of sucks in the early game, and she's not even that good in the mid game. Tough to use, but she could pay off. Pat is my thick big boy right here. Pat's a fun hero. He's fun. He's got some weaknesses for sure. I mean, look at his range. It's not very big. Not very big at all, because he uses his hands to slap the balloons, as ridiculous as that is. As you level him up, he gets much, much stronger. He's fantastic against Moabs, grouped balloons, all that good stuff. He can even pop lead balloons and all that stuff, so he's a fun hero, man. He's a fun hero. He's kind of a bit of a support hero as well, though, because what he does is his main abilities are going to, or his main ability is actually going to support other towers in your range. Extra specially good with things that have a lot of projectiles, like tag shooters and ninjas and such. What they're going to do is when a Moab comes out, you can use your Rallying Roar to increase the popping power of the towers in your range here, making them, like, unbelievably, ridiculously powerful. It's kind of insanity. He's also got this hug ability over here, which he can hug big fat balloons down to the next level. Honestly, not very helpful except for very select rounds. The main issue is that when he's hugging, he stops doing his regular attacks. I wish that was not the case. I think he'd be a much better hero if that was not the case, but as of right now, when he hugs, he stops doing his regular attacks, and that means that it's tough for him to get a lot of things done, and the hug lasts a pretty long time. So, what it does do, though, is it takes down that layer all the way down to the next layer instantaneously, allowing you to kind of get that extra popping power going down. And he can hug again very, very quickly. So it's not a slow to cooldown at all. If you feel like it, just smack it down. In addition, he hits those mobs backwards and those balloons backwards, which is one of the best parts about Pat, because he's kind of, like I said, a bit of a support tower. He allows your other towers to do the real damage that you want to do for him. Maybe I'm biased, but I will let you guys know right now that Adora is my favorite hero in the game. It doesn't mean that she's automatically going to get the highest tier rank, but she's my favorite hero in the game. Adora is pretty sweet. She doesn't have very many weaknesses, and she works really well in a combination with a couple other towers like ninjas. As a base tower, she's extremely strong. She costs only $1,000, so she's more expensive than the other heroes, but not by much. And she has a heat-seeking attack that can basically hit just about anything. As you level her up, she gets some pretty cool abilities as well. Even her level 3 ability is the ability to give you extra range by a lot, and makes your attacks just sort of go all over the map here and do crazy amounts of everything. Her big weakness is purple balloons. So purple balloons just kind of suck to deal with. They just slurp up her attacks here and actually make us like terrible. So you have to combine her with something else that can pop purple balloons for sure. But generally speaking, that's not usually a big deal. Most towers, most of the time, purple balloons are not that big of a deal. You can find something that's going to pop those guys. She's kind of a no-nonsense hero in the sense that she's similar to Churchill. She's very, very strong by herself, but she doesn't do much support to anybody else. So you have to use her advantage in the early game to either make you extra money or something like that to make your late game easier. Her second ability is a ball of light, which allows you to just kind of have a ball just around you right here. And it does a pretty significant amount of damage, but not a ridiculous amount. It's not an automatic win or anything like that. It only did about 1,000 damage to this oh my god right here, so that's nothing ridiculous. But as you level it up, obviously it gets stronger and faster and everything. Her third ability is a weird thing. It is the ability to sacrifice towers. The only way to really get rid of a tower in Chimps mode besides weird glitches using the ice tower. So when you spend money on a tower over here, basically, what you can normally do is you can level up a hero, but instead, you can sacrifice a tower. And if I'm not mistaken, I think it's 3 times the amount of money you spent on a tower is going to get put into this hero. So, that being said, you can sacrifice towers and make a lot of extra cash back. Or a lot of extra experience back with your cash. Definitely worth it to get a level 20 Adora because she levels up slow. She will not reach level 20 by the time you get to around 100 unless you do sacrifices or level her up in some way. But, in my opinion, it's definitely worth it. I'll be straight with you guys. I'm not an expert on Admiral Brickell. I don't love her all that much. In no shape, way, or form is she a bad hero. In fact, on water maps, she's pretty solid. She's got a regular little attack here. She's got explosive shots. As you level her up, she gets strong, very, very strong, very, very quickly. But the main thing is she is, again, a support hero. She's going to be supporting your submarines and your buccaneers. So, she's mainly going to be supporting them with this ability right here, which is going to increase their just overall popping power that they can do for a short amount of time here. But it's also going to increase her popping power and allow you to pop a lot of balloons in a pretty short amount of time. I don't want to go too deep into her again because I'm not super knowledgeable about her, but I will say that on water maps, she's really, really solid. But on the other maps, she could be literally completely worthless or even unbuildable. She does need to be put on water, and that's something to keep in mind for certain maps that just water isn't in the right spot either. Here we go! Etienne, our final hero in the list here, is a drone hero. By himself, he does 0 pops. He does not do anything. But his drones do all the work for him. Now, his drones can be pretty nice, but sometimes they suck pretty bad. The main thing that Etienne does is he gives a little bit of support to all of your other towers. Alright, the main thing that he can do is he can give any other tower on the entire screen camera detection. This is probably the biggest effect that Etienne has. Any tower can have camera detection, automatically. No village required, nothing else required, just automatic camera detection. Realistically, this is not really saving that much money because most of the time, we could build a village for $1,000, $3,000 with camera detection. It's not that big of a deal. But having it automatic, if you have a map where you need to spread out a lot of towers, can be quite amazing, including giving your hero free automatic cam detection. Or, I'm sorry, any of your other towers, free automatic cam detection. It's quite amazing. Now, what you're going to notice is there's a shadow above the screen, because we have a UAV, which is allowing us to have cam detection. But once we get to level 10, now we have a UCAV. A unmanned combat aerial vehicle, which now we can use to pop doubloons. This guy's going to jump around, doing pretty significant amount of damage to mob class balloons and stuff, but it's better against the lower tier balloons for sure. Now, Etienne also has an ability here which can pop out 4 extra drones, which just does extra damage for you. I find them to be a little lackluster. They are obviously helpful, but they take like 3 or 4 seconds to pop out, so like an ability that takes a long time to actually initiate is kind of rough. As he goes up to higher and higher levels, everything gets stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. Eventually, he has 4 automatic delicious drones here, popping out to a delicious 8 drones all at once, sending out ridiculous amounts of popping power. In addition, his last level, he has the unmanned combat aerial vehicle automatic all the time. And when you use your ability, you upgrade him into a super-powered combat aerial vehicle that pops tons and tons and tons of Bloons. He's a really interesting hero. I really like his addition to the team, but he's not necessarily my favorite. Alrighty, boys, it's finally time to talk about our tier list. So keep in mind that, again, these are all my opinions, and they may not be your opinions, and that's completely fine. Let me know in the comments below what you think, and of course, if a bunch of people agree with you, they're going to like your comments, and everybody's going to be happy about it. Starting off, I do have a D tier, and that is Ezili. She ends up being okay for very, very few situations. Alternate balloon rounds, she's alright, but now that Sauda's here, she's outclassed a lot. Even her use in the late game ends up being not even that good compared to a lot of other heroes, because it relies on the Moab Hex to be lucky in some situations and pop the right balloons, actually hexing the right balloons. So it can be very difficult to use Ezili. Her only really awesome thing is that she can pop the bad balloon if you get her to level 20. And that's about it. C tier list. We've only got 2 heroes inside of this list. We've got Quincy and Admiral Brickell. Now, Quincy is not a bad hero, but I think he's easily outclassed by a lot of the other heroes. He does have that decent lead popping power, that decent camera detection, that decent balloon popping power, but everything at the very best is decent. At no point am I like, yes, Quincy did something great. Yes, Quincy's awesome at this. Quincy's not amazing at anything, and that's why he's got to end up in the C list. Admiral Brickell, my big limitation here is the water. Admiral Brickell by herself really isn't that bad. In fact, they had to nerf her several times because she was too good in combination with the submarines. After those nerfs, and because she can only be used on water in very few situations, I've got to put her down here in the C list. She's not bad, she's just tough to use properly. Ooh, baby, I got 4 chunkers in my B class here. We're going to start off with Captain Churchill. He is a no-nonsense popping power king. I think the main issue with Captain Churchill is that he doesn't buff anybody else. And he levels up so slowly and requires so much money to actually level him up to higher levels that his power does not end up being that amazing. And I think that he can easily be outclassed by other heroes. Yes, by himself he does do a lot of pops, but because he's not helping any of your other towers do anything, he's just okay. Or maybe good enough. Striker Jones is one that's tough to position, because any new player would tell you Striker Jones is garbage, he's terrible, and he sucks, and you should never use Striker Jones. But as an experienced player, I can tell you that Striker Jones has a lot of uses. In fact, Chimps mode is probably the thing he's best at. Long-term, late-game scenarios involving lots of mortars and cannons, you can't beat him. Striker Jones is fantastic against those guys. If you use him right, he's one of the best towers in the game. I kind of wish that I could put Gwendolyn higher, but I don't think I can. Mostly because she has a somewhat weak mid-game. She doesn't do anything extremely particularly powerful. The main thing is if you use her fire up right, she can make your other towers do some stuff that's kind of nice. And then in addition, she's not that bad against the Bloons by herself. And then she actually does get very powerful against the Moab class Bloons for super late game. So she's got like some weird weaknesses in the mid game that just make it sort of difficult to use her 100% right, but in no way, shape, or form is she bad. She's good all around, but doesn't surprise me in any way, in any surprisingly amazing way. Now, Etienne could easily go in a lower tier for me. I would completely understand anybody who says Etienne, C tier, even D tier. I get it. But you gotta remember that UCAV is pretty gosh darn strong. Alright, if you try to put him higher than B tier, I might have to argue with you because just having automatic camo detection is not enough to make a hero awesome, and his popping power is so limited compared to the other heroes that having him be kind of a support hero, but not really supporting anybody besides giving him camo detection just isn't enough for me to say, yes, I need to use this guy, and I need to use him in my games. Ooh, baby! Here's my A tier list. We've got 3 big boys in here. All right, we're going to start off with our friend Pat. Pat Fusty is one of those guys that he's got such a tiny range. He seems like he should be a bad tower, but like on a lot of the beginnerish maps and a lot of the medium maps, he's unbelievably powerful. Mostly for his backward smack attack. He keeps the balloons on the screen, and if you're keeping the balloons on the screen, you're going to make sure that all your other towers are going to be popping the balloons. And that's what he does well, and he does it amazing. In addition, he's really not bad against any balloons on any round. I think overall, he's good on every single round you're using him. That's why he's all the way up in A tier here. Obyn Greenfoot. For a free hero, he is the best. I would agree with you guys. If you noticed, I have a free hero in D, 1 in C, 1 in B, and 1 in A. I did that on purpose because I felt like that's my level, and that's my experience with these free heroes. Everybody kind of just has one step up above the next one, and even with Obyn's nerf, he's still ridiculously powerful. Use that Druid Obyn strategy combo, you're almost unstoppable, man. Those guys are delicious together. In combination, Obyn has a lot of damage that he does, but of course, I can't put him in S tier. I can't put him all the way up there because his abilities do kind of, in my opinion, suck. I don't really like him much. I think Brambles is garbage, and I think the trees are super difficult to use and like don't really help that much, like at all. Benjamin. All right, so this guy's only in my A tier list. I could understand why people want to put him in S tier. I could respect somebody putting him lower as well, but I think A fits him super duper well. He makes you extra money. He makes you extra cash. He's good for a beginner because he doesn't need to do anything. You can use all your towers to do everything for you. And he can insta-kill the first Moab, which I think is probably the most interesting part of everything. If you get to level 7, when you hit that Moab, it's almost no longer an issue. Don't have to pop the balloons inside at all. Just pop the Moab and it's gone. And it can do that for a lot of other future rounds as well. So popping those first Moabs from round 40 to all the way up until like 60 or so is going to be amazingly helpful. In addition to making you extra cash. And if you lose some lives, slurp them right on back. Benjamin's a boy. And the top of the best of the best, here they are. We've got Adora and we've got Sauda. Why do I rank these two people here? I think Adora is just the most beautifully combined hero in the game. Adora, Ninja, Alchemist. Get them. If you are a new player and you don't know that combo, get them. See what it can do for you, and I promise you, you will learn a newfound respect for Adora. If you combine those guys together, they're beautiful. Straight up beautiful. They could pop all the way up to around like 50-something just by themselves. You spend like $7 grand and you get that. It's ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense. It's too powerful. But they don't really have a way to nerf it in a fair way. So Adora, Ninja, and Alchemist is going to win you your games. Believe me on that. Trust me on that. It will help you out so much. And don't forget that Adora has a lot of other weird things about her too, like she can still see through walls, which is super duper useful, and her ability can pop purple balloons. Doesn't really have a weakness. All right, Adora, absolutely delicious. Highly recommend her. I don't see how you could possibly ever put her below A tier. Ever. I don't get it. The only problem that she does have is she levels up a little slow. But that can easily be remedied by sacrificing people or just not needing her to be level 20. You know? Her best point in her life is between level like 1 and 10. That's when she's really, really, really good. Use that to your advantage. Get some extra cash. Get some extra something. And go deep with it. On chimps, she's a little bit weaker, but she can still be used. And Sauda. So, again, I hate to put her all the way up here because nerfs could mean some differences coming at us. So, if you're watching this in 6 months or a year and you're like, wow, Sauda sucks. She sucks major balls. Ninja Kiwi ruined her. Well, yeah, that's possible. So, yeah, we all know that Ninja Kiwi can make things really, really weird. So, as far as Sauda is concerned, right now she's OP. She's really, really, really good. She's got a great range for, much bigger range than Pat. She does extreme amounts of damage. She does good pierce. She's got combo detection right from the get-go. You can build her on chimps on level 1. You can build her on any game mode on level 1. Even impoppable if you have your extra 200 cash. So, like, what the heck are you going to do, man? She's beastly. Of course, her only real weakness is that she does have a somewhat smaller range. So, on maps where there's 2 areas that you have to pop, or 3 areas where you have to pop, she may lose a lot of her edge, a lot of her awesomeness. And that can be kind of unfun for us, I guess. But this is my hero tier list. All 12 of these towers are ranked, explained, and ranked to the best of my ability. If you guys enjoyed this video, I would very much appreciate a quick like. And don't forget to subscribe if you guys want to watch more content. If you have any suggestions for me on what else you'd like to see, please let me know in the comments below. And of course, have a super duper delicious day.